We are back. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but I did not want anything to distract from Terena's story of freedom, and because it is beautiful. And so it was distracting to me, so it probably was distracting to you too. So just to recap, that the label that was broken off you, one of the big ones was unworthy and unwanted, right? Can you um, say the other ones that were broken off you? Because I know you said a couple more.
um, from being kind of like the unworthy, and to being, God's princess, and
Mm-hmm.
always feeling like I'm not enough. I needed to get to some kind of unrealistic perfection in order to show up for God and show up for myself, and just leaving that behind, and just with God, we are enough right here and right now. And I went like several years ago. I was just in such a dark hole, really. I feel like where I thought I'd let everything that God put in my life, I let it fall away, and didn't have the confidence, or the didn't know how to really push through, and I felt like so like depressed, and thought life was over, and that I missed out on everything good that God had for me. And I just started praying that, because He kept reminding me of all the things and all the people He put in my life and all these things. And I knew it couldn't be a coincidence, or He wasn't a God that's going to just tease me and not know where I was at, and where I was, the obstacles and the things in my way. So I just started praying for the Lord to, if He would, to restore these dry bones back to life, and to restore the years of the locust. And He has been doing that so profoundly, and bigger and bolder. And I'm just excited about life again. And I feel a whole new sense of freedom. And I just really want to share that encouragement and inspire other people to also to gain that freedom, and not to give up, and just encourage people to come on that journey too.
Mm-hmm. That is so beautiful, and that aligns so beautifully with my heart of being a label breaker. And um, I can understand a lot of those labels that you talked about, and um, not being enough, or being too much, or whatever, too, in that there seemed to be so much life that I missed out on because of some of my big labels, pun intended. Because as you guys know, like um, that was one of my big labels, and we've kind of talked about it on here before, that it was definitely tied to fear, and not, the fear of doing anything good, or that I wasn't good enough to do it, I wasn't pretty enough to do it, I wasn't small enough to do it, or if I did, like, what would people say or do? And we even talked a little bit about it at the retreat, where and I shared with others that um, not all of that physical fat has been removed, but all of the spiritual fat has. Like, that label of fat no longer defines my spirit. Like, that is not what He says I am. And that's not who He ever said I was. Like, it was my brokenness that literally manifested itself in the physical form. And so, as He is broken that label off, it doesn't matter what other people see. It only matters what he sees and what I see through him, right? So yes, he's still removing that physical labor fully in the amount of diseases that are going, sicknesses that are going, fears that have already gone. Um, but that's the great thing about being a label breaker. Like, they're broken, and we can choose to step into them however much freedom we want to, right, Miss Freedom?
Yeah.
So, like, I saw you step fully into freedom last week. And all of those labels that held that freedom back, well, maybe not all of them. I'm not going to say all of them because God might still be working on some with you. And I don't want to a label of discouragement to get on you if it doesn't seem as suddenly as you wish. Because some of our labels, as I say in the book, we can rip it off like a band-aid and it's quick and it's gone. But some of our labels are like a splinter that's way down in there and they fester. And like we can choose to like take the needle and dig it out, which that's what my honey likes to do. And I'm like, that's really painful and that's big. But some people like to do that. Or some like to take it out, remove it as you're removing other things that have covered that up and caused the pain to where you can fully get down to the splinter and remove it all the way. So I want to like just encourage you and keep encouraging you as we encourage each other, because that's part of what our commitment to each other was on the mountain. That when it feels like maybe that label is coming over you again, that no, no, you have removed it. God has removed it from you. And you are freedom. You are free because who the sun sets free is
It's
free
free.
indeed. Yes. So to I'm just so honored to to be a part of your label breaking, like to see because I know what I have gone through, the steps and the years, but to see it and be a part with you, like when our hearts are kind of gone through some of the same things, that I don't even know how to say the words to describe it, but there's just something beautiful that I know he's doing. And I cannot wait because I know what he's doing with you, he's going to do with me too, because that's the power of our testimonies, is that when we share and what we've broken through, then we can bring others along with us in that breakthrough.
Yeah.
And I've heard a little bit of some of your amazing God dreams that he is starting to bring into fruition with you. And I cannot wait to partner and walk 1,000 miles beside you, girl. And like, I don't want to steal your thunder because it is amazing what God's going to do with you. But like I said, it's an honor to be on that with you and to see and the label of freedom that you are walking in now. Like,
That's awesome. You're such a blessing, and your just whole spirit and countenance is just such a sweet one and such a blessing. And I didn't realize until I started reading your book about how much we do have in common with the label breakings and stuff like that.
mm,
How much weight has all been such a big part of my life and how I view myself. And that is definitely one thing that I have just completely done and over with is it's connecting my self worth with my size, body size.
Yeah.
And I definitely want to be, healthy, and I'm not done with my journey. Said before, I'm somewhere in between, but um, like I think it was walls, and it's a very visual way to see like how I was doing. The times when I gained a lot of weight quickly was in the darkest times of my life, and
Mm,
the rest of my life I've spent trying to lose that weight.
yeah.
And it is about those root things and those walls that are tearing down, and still very much in the process of. And I want to be able to love myself right here now, but also love myself enough to get to continue wanting to be healthy, and um, just be everything that God called me to be, and
Mm,
bring as many people along the way as possible.
mm, mm.
And one of the ways that you mentioned the 1,000 miles, something I want to do a while, but I am starting it this weekend. Will be my first launch of it, and I've come a long way. I've lost 100 pounds. I still want to lose another 100 at least. But and it's not just about weight. The real journey is about that our inner healing and
Mm,
facing fears and just being a part of the things that we feel passionate about and God's called us to do. I used to think, I want to do huge things, and that's great and wonderful, but you just start doing anything, and just being a part of those things instead of just thinking about it. Or I used to want to do this, but just participating in these things and
mm,
facing fears and getting out of our comfort zone is
mm.
the only time where really exciting things happen. It's scary to get out. Even losing weight, like that doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but I felt a pattern where I would lose about 30 pounds about when people started noticing, and then I would stop. And it doesn't make logical sense, but when you're hiding behind that or using that, it becomes it does.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I'm gonna start. It's called 1,000 miles to me, and it's just about get that person that you feel like you are right now, and the person that you want to be feel like 1,000 miles away from
Mm,
each other, and about bridging that gap and walking closer and closer to becoming that person that God sees us to be, because it's so much more amazing than anything that we dream about and be. And with His power and strength, we could do amazing things, and that's want other people to come and just encourage and inspire other people more than anything else.
wow. Wow. Um, 1,000. So when I hear the name 1,000 miles to me, like on one hand, I'm like, whew, 1,000 miles. That's
Mhm.
pretty far. That's pretty far to get to me. But in His time, in His steps, like He says, time, one day can be like 1,000 days, right? Or 1,000 days like one day. So those 1,000 miles to me, I felt when what comes to me when you say that is I felt when I've tried to do it in my own power to get to those 1,000 miles to get to me. Girl, I've walked on those things. I've done things all through the years. I've sure done over 1,000 miles in my own power to get to the me I wanted to be. But in
And healthy
his
things and things that aren't the greatest.
right, in his power and his authority, and in the release and the breaking of the labels, he has taken me 1,000 miles in one step. And it's been incredible. So, girl,
Mhm.
the 1,000 miles to me is going to be such a powerful movement with him, because we are going. I've already, like I said, I can't say it enough. You guys don't even know how much transformation she has gone through in just a week. Like I didn't even know her fully a week ago.
Mhm.
But the beautiful woman I met on Sunday last week, like a week ago, time, to the beautiful lady that is sitting before us right now, she's already gone 5,000 miles. 5,000 miles at least. 10,000 miles. Like, it's amazing.
It does feel like I've come way more than you could even know or understand from the even just like 2.5 years ago, but especially more than several years ago, just completely transformed already with
Mm.
just from just going from just not believing myself. One of the things about it's really hard to walk towards your God-given dreams when you can't even say them out loud.
Right.
That's,
Mm.
what do you want? um,
Wow.
because it just feels like just gaining that confidence and that
Mm.
ability. And of course, healing is tremendously the most important thing. And we have such self limited limiting beliefs sometimes that's all it takes to do that journey is just breaking off those self-limiting beliefs
Yeah.
um, that hold us back when there's not really even a cage there, but it just feels like there is.
Mm. Mm.
Sometimes it's that simple, changing that perspective and that mindset, but just God's brought me through so much healing and change already that I know I still have a lot to go, but I already have really been on a major journey already. And that's why I finally feel confident enough to put it out there. I wanted to do this for a while, but just not having the confidence and to be authentic enough and real enough because you have to become that and let go of the image that you just want to cultivate and share online. We only put perfect moments and um, angles and all that good stuff, but just being
Mm.
authentic and real and just growing in that. And I do feel like what you saw was me maybe finally breaking out of the cocoon. I know it's cliche, but it's so true. Like I spent a lot of time isolated and alone, and
Mm.
I know God was using that time to change me and mold me, shape me into something new and different. And now it's time to just get started in that journey and excited to see where that where what God can do. It's not what I can do. It's what God can do. Like I said, I want to take as many people on that journey for themselves as well.
I'm there. I want to go with you. So, yes. Oh, wow. I mean, I love that I mean, you said some couple of very significant things in that, and that even in the isolation, that it was a preparation, right? And
Absolutely.
so sometimes when we're in the isolation, that's all we can see if that's where we turn our eyes. Like we can just get stuck in the isolation and that we're alone and nobody's there with us and
Give up.
it's
Don't give up.
don't give up
Yeah,
because
because sometimes God has to take us to a place that's so uncomfortable that we're willing to do anything to change. Otherwise, we get comfortable. We won't even try. Not that or not that it's bad things or anything like that. It's just that sometimes we trade the good for the great.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
yeah, those uncomfortable places God often uses to get us to finally get up and move closer toward Him. One
Yeah.
time I was reading this book called The Secret of the Stairs, and God was really starting to show me um, Himself to me when I was a lot younger. And He first put this is the summer that He first put a lot of dreams in my heart and mind, the seeds for them anyway. And it was talking about the Song of Solomon, Solomon, and how at it from a spiritual perspective, that it's him drawing us, his bride, close to him. But there's like the very first step is getting into his chambers in the first place, and then we get comfortable, and then he'll call us. He'll use things to beckon us closer toward him, and that can be. And he just made this really visual thing one day where I was really tired and weak and weary and had been up all night and was afraid. And I'd done everything that he told me. I felt like he told me to do, and I didn't really understand spiritual warfare and those kind of things. That it's not always going to be easy for sure. But that he just showed me this visual picture of that, where I come to this kind of park kind of place, and it ended up being this mansion. And I went to the bottom part, and it was just so peaceful and restful. And I was so tired and exhausted from emotionally and physically. And so I sat there for a long time and talked to God and that. And I finally wanted to be curious enough to get up and go to these set of steps that I could see. And then each time you would go up a set of steps, you couldn't see anything else, but it'd be smaller and nicer and more charming each way. But then there would be something that would, like once I heard music, so that beckoned me up into to go up even more steps. And I finally ended up at the bottom of a long set of steps, and it was up the top was a mansion, and they were preparing for a wedding. Just the night before was the one and only time I think I'd ever really questioned God, because I, like I said, I had done everything that I thought He told me to do, and if I was wrong about that, then was I wrong about God? And it was just this one moment that was so dark, because I'm like, question was God even real? And it was literally just for a moment, but it was such a dark, awful thought, and then in that moment, just like 12 hours later, he had never been more real and more. Everything I was reading in the Bible and this book was just all real and all right there. And I knew that's why he was showing me, is that walk and that climb up toward him, and that, yeah, he was, uncomfortable or question it, or that's right. But just that he's calling us, and sometimes that takes, we have to get up and follow him. And but at the end was this beautiful wedding, and that's the ultimate for all of us, is to be his bride. So.
That's so beautiful. Oh my, you got me all choked up, girl. Oh yeah, wow. I was just picturing each step with you, and that he is calling all this to come be his bride, and how beautiful that is. And he's got me. He's got me right now, because he called all of us this week to like higher levels, and as our fearless leader this week says, he called us to greater greats and bigger bigs, and to say hello to tomorrow. And like, I'm so incredibly thankful for her, yes, like that she saw the greater great and the bigger big with him, and that she said yes to excuse me, to the week that we just had, so that we could all say yes to the greater greats and the bigger bigs. And I know that he has already nothing gets to steal our voice, right?
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm getting a little scratchy throat, but nothing gets to steal our voice anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing gets to steal our voice.
I remember not having a voice, and now I know God's giving me a voice, and
Mm.
I want to get louder and louder with it. And um, I know that there's books and things and lots of things in my heart and mind that He's called me to do, and just want to get braver and braver to put that out there.
You are. You are. Yeah, you got incredible things inside of you that are bursting to come out. They cannot stay inside of you anymore. Like,
We've been way too long of
yes,
just dreaming and thinking about things, and now it's time to do.
yes,
Time to do and share the
yeah.
light and everything that God's poured into me, pour out to other people.
Mm, I love that. Well, I want to thank you for sharing tonight, for being brave, and for using your voice to come on here tonight. Um, it was such a great honor to have you be the first one of the ladies to share and to share their experience. All of the rest of you ladies that were listening, it's your turn next. And speaking of that, we will have the amazing Dr. Sprinkles on next week from there.
Yeah.
Sprinkle.
Yeah.
But, but no, seriously, like the transformation that I've already seen in you and um, get to keep experiencing with you as we share our stories together brings my heart great joy and honor to be a part of that with you now and you to be a part of Label Breakers with me now. And so, and you kept saying over and over, be authentically you. And guys, that is the name of our Label Breaker retreat that's coming up in September is the Be You retreat, how to be authentically you. So
You didn't know that. So yeah. It's
fun.
been
Did it? So, like I said, I'm so excited for what he has started in you and in me and in us together and with our amazing sisters and with all of you because all of you are amazing creations of the wonderful three who love you as high as the mountains, as deep as the ocean, as wide as the sky, with all their hearts. And you guys know that that's how much I love you too. Not greater than them, but I love you high, deep, and wide because of them. So, sweet one, I just am so honored that you came on
I'm,
tonight.
I'm so honored that you would have me.
So thank you for sharing this part of your journey and this part of your story with us. And I cannot wait to see how high you soar. So in that, would you do the honor of praying us out, praying what has been imparted to you that we can um, get the testimony of your testimony to pour into our lives too.
Oh God, I just want to thank you so much for this wonderful daughter of yours, Lord, and all the things that she's doing to share your love and your freedom to others, Lord. And I just pray that we would all come together to you and live in freedom, and live in that love that you want to pour onto us, and that we would just live that freedom out so that we could do all the amazing things that you have called for us to do, to love others and to bring people along with us to the kingdom, Lord. And I just want to thank you and praise you and just honor you, Lord, and that you would we would accept your love and your power and believe that and trust that we are who you say we are, not what the lies say, but who you say we are. In Jesus' name, I pray and thank you.
Amen and amen. Oh, wow. So I told you guys tonight would be amazing. So stay tuned because we are going to see some big, big things coming in the future. I know. So thank you again for joining us tonight on Label Breakers, and join us next week for another amazing sister. Yeah. So, thank you, sis. Mwah. Love you big. And we will see you all next week. Bye.